2024 was a great year for video game conventions. We went to many video game conventions, but there were some that really stood out for us this year. In this video, we're going to do a recap of the best video game conventions of 2024. One of my new favorite video game conventions is the SoCal Gaming Expo. The vendors at this show had some incredible and high-end unique items. You know, I'm still on the hunt for some hard-to-find games, and I had no problem finding them at this show. The vibe in the air was like nothing I've seen before on the East Coast conventions I'm used to. It was high energy and chill at the same time. There was an amazing Tetris tournament where Logan Paul competed against Tetris prodigy Blue Scooty. Here we have one of my favorite folks in this community, Fletro, a vanguard of the NES collecting scene. He was on hand with some amazing gems, and he sold me what was my find of the show, a gorgeous, complete-in-box copy of Race America, one of the hardest titles in the NES library to find. All around, it was an amazing show. I've blocked time on my calendar for next year, and there's no doubt I'll be back for the SoCal Gaming Expo. If there's one word I could use to describe Southeast Game Exchange, I would say massive. This is, without a shadow of a doubt, the largest video game convention that we've been to in 2024, and arguably the largest video game convention by size. There are just rows and rows and rows of vendors with just an absolutely unlimited amount of different things, games, systems, consoles, figures. You name it, it's here. If you don't find something you're looking for at Southeast Game Exchange, chances are it doesn't exist. In addition to the great gaming opportunities in terms of buying things you need, but there's also some great folks in the video game collecting community that come to this show. I'll give you one example. This is my friend RJ, who I've had the honor to meet a few times before, who is a loyal viewer of It's All Dug in Games and also my Word Game channel. RJ is an amazing human being, a wonderful member of the video game collecting community, and he's also a Tetris player, specifically the Tenjin version of Tetris. He streams Tetris on YouTube most nights at about 9 o'clock Eastern time, so please check him out. He's an amazing fella, and I'm so happy to have him as my friend. Now, what is one of the most impressive things that I got? Well, for me, it was the Atari Sears Telegame Superman that I did a trade to get, but I was so happy to be able to find this holy grail in the Atari world and add it to my collection. To be sure, this is another show you'll see me back each and every year at Southeast Game Exchange. The next show that we want to talk about here is RetroWorld Expo, which happens each and every year in Hartford, Connecticut. It's been going on for 9 years now, and I've got to tell you, if there's one thing that I think about with RetroWorld Expo, it's home. Even though I don't live in Connecticut anymore, this will always be considered my home show. If nothing else, the vibe that immediately washes over you when you're here is family and community. Whether you live in Hartford or not, whether you go to a lot of conventions or not, you just get this vibe that everyone is a big, happy video game loving family here. It's just in the air. I think that sometimes when you talk about vibes from a video game show, you think about, well, they come from the folks who run it. And Chris, the owner of Retro Games Plus, his spirit and his energy is palpable at these shows. Positive energy, good vibes, low key, chill, just the kind of person you want to sit down and have a beer with. So there you go. You cannot leave a RetroWorld Expo without feeling better about the world, and I certainly felt good about it as well. Now, we didn't get a lot of footage from this show because I was helping my friend Dan from Best Buds vend, but I can assure you there was some really cool pickups I got, and in a future video, we'll explore those. Last but not least in our look through the best shows of 2024 is a really special show, Really Rad Weekend, out on the Panhandle in Florida. Now, Really Rad Weekend is a bit of a different beast. It's not held in a giant convention hall, and you just don't have like hundreds of vendors. This is a much smaller show by all accounts, but it's a really amazing experience because it's not as much a gaming convention convention as much as it is a holiday weekend with friends that like video games. So there is a vendor room, and there are a few dozen vendors there. There's also some amazing guest panels and seminars. There's a free-to-play arcade. There's activities. There's video game contests. All that stuff exists. But this, again, is all about going out to the beach. The venue that hosts the Really Rad Weekend is literally on the beach. So when you need a break from playing video games, you literally step a few feet and you're out there on the sand and the surf and the sun, and it's an amazing vibe. So this is the kind of show you go to when you want to get away, you want to have a vacation, but you just can't go a whole weekend without your fix of video games. That's Really Rad Weekend. It was, quite frankly, really rad. And I'll tell you what was the pickup for me of this show. Well, I did a blockbuster trade with fellow big-time YouTube content creator Aaron Kosharski, where I traded my graded Mario 64 for his gorgeous complete in box Clue Land. It was a trade for the ages. We both got something we really needed for our respective collections, and good times were had by all. Again, I can't recommend Really Rad Weekend enough if you like sun, you like fun, and you like video games. The video game convention scene, at least here in the United States, is absolutely incredible. No matter where you live or what you're looking for in a video game show, there's something out there for you. I had a great time traveling the country going to these shows, and I'm wondering, did I miss a show? Do I need to go to a special one next year that I didn't this year? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time on It's All Dug in Games.